We're taking up, H.
You need to know, I just wanted to tell Senator Sears I was wrong. We didn't vote it out. We'll
Okay,
get it out on Tuesday.
thank you.
All right, so, this is Senate Appropriations, and we're taking up H 657. We're not, doing a final vote today. It's going to go in, transportation, and, there may be an amendment, so, but because of the time constraints that we're working under, wanted to use time to have the reporter of the bill, explain it to us, and I realize that we're getting it because there is an appropriation out of the pilot fund of, I think it was 50,000 or something to go to the PBR, to support the evaluation work. So, it's a modest appropriation. It's not a general fund appropriation, but that's why the bill's been deferred here. So you want to give us a presentation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill has three chunks, and I really want to address the chunks corresponding to these sections that are really outlined in the fiscal note that I see is in front of a lot of you. I am going to be talking about it's an amendment that you likely see before it leaves this committee. I'm going to do that gradually through this. The first chunk, everybody seems to completely agree upon. The first chunk has to do with sections 1 through 6, and it has to do with the universal service access fee that we pay for with our cell phones. So I remember it was about a year and a half ago, and a fellow that I know that understands these systems really well, is he said, we really ought to look under the hood of what we're charging for the universal service fee that our cell phones pay to fund E911, as well as many other services. And that very gratefully got into the budget last year. Ted Barnett did some great work, which really looked at what we've been charging and how it hasn't really been calibrated to how people use phones. And so this first sections 1 through 6 is really just aligning to the fact that the previous percentage doesn't really match the real cost of and the association of having a cell line. So we're shifting from 2.4% charge on a landline, postpaid, wireless, or interconnected VoIP to a flat 72 cents monthly charge per access line. We didn't hear in finance any objections to that, nor has anybody come forward. It seems to track with the rest of the country, and it will raise some additional revenues. I think approximately it'll raise $3 million more for the Vermont Universal Service Fund, and you can see the cascade of where those funds go to on the second page of the fiscal note, where it's sorry, not the second page, the third page, Vermont Universal Service Fund Restoration Resources table. So I don't think there's many concerns or interests on your part on section 1. Won't speak to that, but I will say on the second chunk, which is really section 7 through 13, your Senate Finance Committee effectively altered what the House sent to us based on differing testimony that was moving really quickly, and we converted it to a study. And through conversations with our House counterparts, additional clarifications from Jill Remnick and Abby Shepard, I've been talking with the chair of finance and also with our counterparts in the House, trying to avoid a committee conference, which there just isn't time for. But I'm very hopeful that I will be proposing to you an alteration to either the finance amendment or instead just an appropriations amendment, effectively reverting back to what the House sent us with a modest change of eliminating certain characterized equipment being, I can specifically point your attention to it if you have the bill in front of you, somewhat nuanced, but it has to do with the terms of not asking to quantify servers, routers, equipment as personal property.
In the Senate, as passed or as passed by the House.
Correct. You will see as passed.
Which, as passed, okay. And what was the section again?
So as passed by the House,
Did you say section 7? Nice to repeal. Section 10, maybe communications property. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
I will point to section 10, communication property, and so what you will see proposed for you tomorrow is on, if you're looking at that proposed by the House, page 10 of section 10, effectively on line 10, section 10, page 10, line 10. Right after wireless towers, we would end the sentence there and no longer could not include machinery, distribution hubs, splitters, switching equipment, routers, servers, power equipment, and any other type of equipment. That raised a lot of concern. The PBR does not currently evaluate or evaluate those at all, so they had a lot of hesitations. It also, those are all movable equipment, which breaks away from sort of our real governance standards. So what I'm working with, make sure Senate Finance is okay with it, is to bring back a revised amendment for either this group or maybe a substitute amendment through finance to effectively restore the second block of this bill, which would be the sections that the Senate Finance is currently struck, which is sections 7 through 13, if I'm not mistaken. So what I think the implications for Senate appropriations is really two things. One, exactly, you said, Madam Chair, 50,000. I believe if you look at it's $150,000 to
Yeah,
help
150.
PBR develop a new tax.
Property valuation model.
Correct.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Who pays the fees and the taxes? Who pays the fees and the taxes?
So there's different ones. I want to make sure you're not talking about the first one. The first block chunk I was talking about are on our cell phone bills. Those
Yeah,
are the
I
access fees.
understand.
So now,
Who pays those? Oh, the cell phone.
correct.
Okay, and is that considered a progressive tax or a regressive tax?
So that is a flat fee on each line. So
Is it considered a regressive tax or a progressive?
that would be arguably a regressive tax. I would counter that one of the carve outs is that we continue to assess the percentage on prepaid phone lines because that makes more sense. And also it's found that those on lower income spectrum often take advantage of those prepaid phone lines. And so we did not switch to a regressive fee, or the House did not, we concurred to a regressive fee, flat fee.
But I would argue that if you're wealthy, your percentage of the cost of this tax is relatively small. If you're middle class, your percentage is probably much higher. And then if you're lower middle class, your percentage is huge. This is where the problem comes in my view, in relying on things like
The question, maybe we need to be clear, Senator Chitton, there's a tax now.
Correct.
So, so what you're switching is the 2.4% with a 72 cent per line.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not a new tax, it's,
It's just modernizing an old tax, yeah.
I guess maybe that's sort of
Okay.
like us.
But I'm just learning about taxes, you know.
Mhm.
But
And you still are paying, you know, and we appreciate that.
I'm not paying about taxes, but I see the regressive taxes. Like, we would not put a sales tax on food.
I think part of the argument for the switch to the 72 cents is that it
But
does.
we have no problem taxing something that is probably vital thing today to have some form of cell phone. Most people don't have landlines anymore, except in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine,
And they got a telephone lifeline.
and they get a phone. I just think we have to be very careful.
So, all right, Senator Westman, then Senator Starr, we're taking this up, we're not voting on it today. And the reason we have it is because of the issue around the property issue and how to evaluate that. And that is why we're giving money to PBR to develop that model, evaluation model. So that's why it's here. It's not general fund, it's out of pilot. All right, Senator Weston, and then we'll go to Senator Starr.
This is just kind of followers. So in this, there was 2.4% on landlines. And you're taking that off and putting a fee of 72 cents per hookup. But for a wireless phone, it's 2.4% on your bill.
My understanding is no, just prepaid wireless.
Okay, prepaid wireless, but if you're a wireless phone, is that 72 cents?
It will be.
So like our cell phones here. And I only have one line,
And before that,
72 cents.
it was 2.4%
We'll have one line, you can't get the
the total
discount.
bill.
Correct.
So if you paid $50 a month, that'd be like $1.72. My understanding, or I did the math wrong, and I'm looking at my JFO friend over here.
Bundle.
Part of the rationale for this is that that percent was not applying to data services, okay? So that with percentage was lower, and many other states had already recalibrated that more and more people are not paying for the phone and text services. And they're only getting paid the percentage on that, which is disproportionately a smaller amount. We still need to pay for E911. And that's why my three kids have phones. As much as I don't want them on those devices, I want them to be able to call 911. So it was arguable that this was a justifiable flat fee in order to pay for all the important services. that
Or the
were-
998.
I don't disagree with, we have to pay for the service. But what I think in some respects, Senator Sears is correct. If I'm able to afford all kinds of data services and be on my phone all the time, when it was a percentage, I paid a higher percentage.
You did not pay the percentage on the data services. You only paid it on the cost of phone line,
No, it's a
which would
thanks.
usually be a smaller amount.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's how.
All right, Senator Starr, you're.
Well, basically, Senator, answered my question when he answered Richie's question, so I no longer have a
Oh, all right, thank you.
an answer.
So at this
Yeah.
point, we're not taking action on it. It's just a matter of getting.
Probably a good thing.
And so,
I missed me.
Are we doing this tomorrow?
you've missed me, I'm sure.
We're gonna do this tomorrow.
We will do this tomorrow. Obviously, there's an amendment in the works that
Yeah.
Senator Chittenden has referenced. It might tie into a transportation related issue, so there'd be some discussion by that committee. And then we will take action relative to the appropriation that the bill includes. And we'll do that tomorrow. And obviously, this room is not filled because of, I'm sorry, Senator Chittenden, but I don't think like 57. We trying to get this drawn. Perhaps has drawn the crowd. It might be you.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming in.
Tomorrow. Thanks.
So we're done.
We, this committee is done.